Good evening. Welcome to Friday's North West Tonight with me, Annabelle Tiffin. Our top story this evening. A mockery of justice. Families anger as the nurse who illegally sedated patients could get early release from prison. Catherine Hudson sedated 2 patients at Blackpool Victoria Hospital for an easy shift. Also tonight, how a new school in Stockport has helped to transform the lives of autistic children and their parents. Some might say it's Manchester's biggest pop reunion ever. Oasis are back home in front of 80,000 fans.
And we're live at Emirates Old Trafford ahead of the big one in cricket's T20 Blast. It's Lancashire Lightning versus Yorkshire. Join us later in the programme.
And our temperatures will continue to rise this weekend. But just how long will the hot weather last? Join me at the end of the programme to find out.
A nurse who was jailed after illegally sedating 2 elderly women so that she could have an easy shift might get out of prison early. The families of her victims say they're appalled and it makes a mockery of justice. Catherine Hudson was jailed for more than 7 years in December 2023. The judge said she needed to serve at least 3 years, but she could now be released just 18 months into her sentence. Eunice Muller has this exclusive report.
Catherine Hudson showed contempt for her victims and in court refused to apologise to their families. The former nurse drugged 2 patients and conspired to drug another, June Westhead. Her daughter, Sue Cheetham, was told last week that Hudson wants an early release from prison.
I'm totally disgusted with the judicial system for the heinous crime that they committed, and she's only been in 19 months, and the judge did say she must serve a sentence of 3 years.
June, who was 80, spent 3 months in hospital for her stroke, but was moved to a nursing home when her condition deteriorated and died in December 2017.
At the trial, she just laughed all the way through when she was getting sentenced, which I thought was terrible.
Aileen Scott was drugged with the non-prescribed sedative Zopiclone to keep her quiet. Her son Brian is distressed to learn of a possible early release.
There's no justice if that's the case, and it also makes a mockery, I believe, of the sentence that was applied. She was found guilty by a jury of her peers.
Here at Preston Crown Court, Catherine Hudson was told that she was in a position of trust and had defended against vulnerable patients. She was the lead offender and would have to serve around half of her sentence of 7 years and 2 months. Charlotte Wilmot was also convicted of conspiring to ill-treat Sue Cheetham's mother and has already been released early under recent changes to tackle overcrowding in prisons. The Ministry of Justice told us no one is eligible for home detention curfew unless they've been risk assessed and have 12 months or less left before their conditional release date. Anyone released under HDC must follow strict rules and is always monitored electronically during their curfew.
What have the probation service told you, Sue?
Well, the probation services have said to me it's a done deal.
A done deal?
Yeah, because she's been a model prisoner and she's no threat to people outside.
The Conservative MP for Fylde and former Lancashire Police and Crime Commissioner Andrew Snowden has written to ministers and the probation service to raise his concerns.
There is no acceptance of the hurt, the harm, the devastation that she's caused. And for me, considering releasing someone who has committed vile crimes like this, it just flies against exactly what early release should be for.
Most importantly for my mum, my wider family, and for all, including all NHS professionals and NHS nursing staff, it's really, really poor and distasteful.
Sue Cheetham and Brian Scott are hoping they'll get the meeting they're calling for with the Justice Secretary to get the victims' voices heard. Eunice Muller, BBC North West Tonight.
Right, let's get a roundup of some of the other news today. And tributes will be paid to Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva at Liverpool's friendly at Preston North End on Sunday. The game at Deepdale is Liverpool's first since Jota's death. Players will wear black armbands and there'll be a rendition of You'll Never Walk Alone. A wreath will also be laid and a minute's silence observed. 3 Merseyside police officers who confronted the Southport knife attacker have been honoured for their bravery. Sergeant Gregory Gillespie, Constable Luke Holden and PCSO Timothy Parry were the first officers to arrive on the scene. The officers were the overall winners of the Police Federation's National Bravery Awards held in London last night. And a hosepipe ban is unlikely to be called in Cumbria, according to United Utilities. The firm says it's not considering a ban because recent rainfall has topped up reservoir levels. Restrictions on water usage are now in force in neighbouring Yorkshire, the UK's first hosepipe ban this year. The Environment Agency says the North West, though, is still in a drought. Now, all week, we've been bringing you stories about people who have disabilities or illnesses that we can't always see. Tonight, we hear from 2 parents of autistic children who were struggling in mainstream school. They say that a new school in Stockport, especially for autistic children, has changed not only their child's life, but theirs too. Kelly Foran reports.
We were getting threatened with exclusion every week. Come and get Hugo, you need to come and get him. Hugo's done this, Hugo's done that. And it became really attacking.
Because mainstream school didn't have the training and the facilities to look after her, their way of dealing with it was to lock her in a cloakroom. So it was classed as her space, but it was a cloakroom.
Both Nicola and Paula told me about the looks, the comments from strangers.
She's been called a baby, I've been told to give her a smack, we've been kicked off a bus before now. You name it, we've heard these comments, obviously. We do generally ignore them, but it does still hurt as a mum, especially when she can hear it.
No parent ever wants to say that, you know, I didn't know how to cope with my child when he hit me. And it's not, you know, people will then go, oh, it's domestic abuse. Well, no, it's not. You've got a child who's physically distressed. Their fight and flight system is on fire, you know, and he's massively, massively struggling, and he's scared.
It's clear from talking to Paula that she has so much love, patience and determination to make her son's world a better place for him. Mainstream school wasn't working, often taught separately in a corridor. One day he managed to escape.
There was only a fence that was 4 foot high, and he was able to jump over that fence, and for the grace of God he was able to, he went right instead of left. If he'd have gone left, he'd have been out on the main road, and I might not be sat here talking to you today.
They found Brinksway School, opened this school year in Stockport for children with autism. There are corridors and classrooms, but also playrooms, and children here learn at their own pace.
When you get that phone call off a family and they're in tears with happiness, you can't not feel that for them, and it's, you know, it's a challenging job, but we do it because we absolutely care and we want to make a difference to these children and young people in their lives.
Help me. Ready?
One of the teachers here, Nicola's just been off for a year. She had no choice but to stop working and homeschool her autistic daughter, Grace. She applied to more than 20 special educational needs schools for Grace, but there were no places.
I think it's still quite a grey area because not many people do understand autism and the challenges it can sometimes pose.
Their children have now got not only a school place, but a happy place too. They say schools like Brinksway can change not just the child's life, but their entire families. Kelly Foran, BBC North West Tonight.
And Kelly's series has been so interesting. That was the last one in her series. Well, Melanie Close is from Disability Equality North West. It's a campaigning charity which helps people live independently. She has mobility issues herself, but says they're not always that visible. She told me earlier about the reaction that she sometimes receives from people.
So I call it the look, and lots of other disabled people go, I know exactly what you mean, Mel. So, for example, I use an accessible toilet. because they're more accessible for me. I walk out of an accessible toilet, and if there is a queue, people give me that look. Now,
saying you don't look like you have a disability.
Yeah, the look that kind of goes, they look you up and down like, oh, you're using an accessible toilet, because there is this assumption that if you're using an accessible toilet, then you should be a wheelchair user. You know, and it should be visible why you need to use it.
We've heard, you know, from different people's stories that the difficulties, the prejudices that people can face. And does it still take you back that people still feel like that?
It does. I think we still have this kind of deficit model where if somebody looks like they need care and support, then generally people will give them care and support. They will offer help. So if we could kind of create more of a level playing field where we would just being kind and assuming that everybody might need some help, people can get really anxious. They don't consider themselves to be disabled, but they might need just a little bit of help and support.
And you'll be obviously well aware of all the controversy over the welfare reforms and PIP payments. What kind of effect has that had on a lot of the people that you deal with?
As an organisation, we were absolutely bombarded with people picking the phone up to us, calling in, and some people weren't even on PIP. But that's the level of fear it creates, that if you are starting to look at the benefits that our community needs to live, and to live a full and active life, then what would happen next?
Are you satisfied with the concessions then now and the bill as it looks at the moment?
We're keeping a watch on it, because I think PIP's been kind of put to one side, but the majority of people that I've spoken to have said they have review dates. So it's only put to one side until their review dates come. So the devil is in the detail, but we'll be watching it.
Do you think that we are getting better? Are the society's attitudes getting better towards people with disabilities?
Very definitely. It is getting better. The legislation helped, but it's things like this. It's programmes like the ones that you're doing. It's raising awareness. It's getting that message out there, because every time we make that point that we don't want that deficit model, we don't want you to ask what's wrong with us, we just want everybody to be kind and assume that everybody needs a little bit of help. The more we do that, things very definitely will get better.
Melanie, thanks ever so much.
Thank you.
That was Melanie Close speaking to me earlier. Right, let's get some more stories from the northwest this evening. A Lancashire cemetery could have an extended Muslim burial area if £600,000 of work is approved. A council report from Haslington Cemetery will require extra space later this year. A woman who smuggled bags of ecstasy into the Creamfields Music Festival has been jailed for 2 years and 3 months. Molly Breen admitted to having drugs when stopped by police. And a man who saved a teenage girl from being assaulted by a stranger has been given a commendation for his bravery. Kieran Sandham intervened when he saw the girl being dragged to the ground in Kendal. And you can find out more on bbc.co.uk/local news or on the BBC News app. Now, the sun is out, it's mid-July, but businesses providing holiday accommodation in Blackpool say they're in crisis. Stay Blackpool, the local trade association, is calling for more help from the council for smaller hotels and B&Bs. Our Lancashire political reporter, Gina Milson, reports.
At the Corona Hotel, close to Blackpool's famous pleasure beach, Paul is plumping the cushions and making the beds, preparing for his next guests.
This is our pension, this is what we've invested in for 24 years. And we love it, but it's getting harder, you know, and there's no denying that.
Tourism nets the Blackpool economy around £2 billion a year, but the growth of Airbnbs and a lack of regulation around them is causing concerns.
I've just come back from Spain, and any hotel or rental apartment have got a sign on the front of the building by law, and you have to be registered, you have to be stamped. They love their stamps in Spain, and over here, it's just buy business, get on with it. The owners don't need any experience, and there's no standards that they're setting out.
When we moved here in 2005, this was a lovely gift shop.
Coronation Street shares little in common with its more famous counterpart, but this road just off the front is one of many littered with abandoned properties. Stay Blackpool says the boarded up premises and antisocial behaviour aren't encouraging holidaymakers to stay.
They're desperately in need of regeneration, but all the time and effort is put into project in the town centre. But this area plays such a big part in what's going on in Blackpool.
The council says it's doing its best to get the sector moving again, but critics say progress is at a trot rather than a gallop.
Blackpool's a work in progress, but I mean we've already spent £2 billion on regenerating the resort. If you'd have said that 10 years ago, then I think it would have been fair criticism, but I think Blackpool's a fairly big place, there's quite a lot to do, but we are really changing the face of this resort, and with the sort of investment we've seen, it's just astonishingly different from how it was just a few years ago.
The sky's looking blue along the Lancashire coast. Well, almost, but creating a brighter outlook for local businesses may take a while yet.
Gina Milson reporting, and I'll be discussing that issue with my guests on Politics Northwest, and we'll be talking about Sir Jake Berry's defection to Reform. That's all on Politics Northwest at 10 a.m. on BBC One on Sunday. Now, much like the weather, the battle to reach cricket's T20 Blast Finals Day is hotting up with a real sizzler of a fixture about to get underway. It is a sellout Roses clash between Lancashire Lightning and Yorkshire Vikings at Emirates Old Trafford, and that's exactly where we can join Ian now. It's heating up, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it really is. Annabelle, it's roasting here at pitchside. I'm even wearing linen trousers. I've never done that before, and still the heat will not escape me. It's really, really, really hot. We're in front of the party stand here at Emirates Old Trafford, a few minutes ahead of Lancashire Lightning versus Yorkshire. It's second against eighth in the T20 Blast Northern section, as well as points. Pride, of course, is at stake in this very much historic fixture. Now, Stephen Croft, the interim head coach here, captained Lancashire to victory in this competition in 2015, and he knows all about this Roses fixture.
It's one you look for in the calendar each season. Unfortunately, last few years have been a bit rainy, but it means so much to the people of Lancashire. We get obviously a sellout every time it's on. They're usually great games of cricket, and especially when we come out on top.
And you're going really well, especially in the T20 Blast. So optimism all around this place on this beautiful night here.
Yeah, we've played some superb cricket over the comp so far, but it probably does even it up this game. Doesn't matter about form. It's about who wants it on the night, and yeah, really exciting night ahead.
This is your fourth game in the T20 Blast in a week. That's a lot. You didn't even get back till I think 4 o'clock in the morning after one game.
The schedule is pretty jam-packed, and it's tough at times, and unfortunately in that game 2 of our players went down as well, which is not ideal. But yeah, we want to see the best players on the park, and I think looking after that schedule is going to help that.
As a final point, you've told the people here that you want a lot of Oasis and Manchester music tonight being played around the ground to build up the atmosphere. I think there's something else going on down the road at Heaton Park as well.
Yeah, the boys are over in Heaton Park tonight, but also as well, let the Yorkies know that they're in Manchester, and it's the best place for music as well.
How about that? Yeah, we've heard loads of Oasis here tonight. Now, this game is pretty much a sellout, and there are loads more people outside coming through the gate, paying on the gate tonight, that's for certain. And they should get a really good match here in perfect conditions.
Best shows for the night, saved them special for tonight.
Yeah, you wacky guys, you lot, are they going to win, Lancashire?
Every chance.
Definitely bolts a chance, they've done it too. Probably best players in the world, and Sultan Butler being back.
I think they're going to do well, win.
Yeah, you think of Lancashire win? And what about winning the whole competition? They last won it in 2015.
I hope they'll win it though again.
Tell us what you've come as tonight.
A guy's riding a flamingo. Unfortunately, this one can't fly, but we're hoping for a Lancashire win tonight.
Yeah, there are reports today in other sporting news that Bayern Munich have now bid close to £50 million for Liverpool's Luis Diaz. Meanwhile, Liverpool women have accepted a world record bid of more than £1 million from Arsenal for the forward Olivia Smith. The current world record is £900,000. And finally, Wigan Warriors can close the gap on Super League leaders Hull KR tonight if they can beat Huddersfield at the Brick Community Stadium. Meanwhile, over in Yorkshire, it's 3rd versus 5th as Leeds Rhinos host St Helens. Saints, you might know, are really on a good run of form, and this was their home win over Leeds when the sides met just last month. Here at Emirates Old Trafford, though, tonight it's Lancashire Lightning versus Yorkshire in the T20 Blast, which is the second hottest ticket in town in Manchester this weekend, some might say.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Ian. Do you know what he needs? He needs a bucket hat, doesn't he, on his head because of the heat, and there is plenty of them around across Manchester today and even in our office, because the wait is finally over. After 16 years, Oasis are playing their first of their 5 homecoming gigs, starting tonight in Heaton Park. 80,000 people are heading there, and Anna Jameson has been soaking up the atmosphere.
This is what Manchester's skies could look like tonight. Oasis's team released it earlier. But today, Manchester's mad for Oasis. Even the trams have been taken over with a Liam Gallagher cameo.
The next stop is Eaton Park. Come on, move it.
And this is it, the official front of the queue outside Heaton Park. People, hello! Have been queuing since 3 o'clock in the morning so they can get the best spot to see Liam and Noel.
Feeling supersonic, give me gin and tonic.
Andrea and Urbis have travelled from Italy to be here.
Every single song of Oasis compose every part of my day life. So when I wake up, the first group band which I heard every days of my life is Oasis.
I came from the States in Mississippi, lower Mississippi.
I'm not being funny. I bet there's not many people who look like you in Louisiana dressed
in
Man City blue.
I usually, honestly, I come over here, most people go, "You're one of us, you're one of us." I cannot do a British accent, so I'm not even going to try. but you know what? That's a great honor to be one of y'all. All these people coming from all over the world, you know, and Oasis has affected their life in some way positive. It's got them through a hard time. It's been a celebration. Kids being born. I got 2 children, and like right below seeing Oasis today, their birth comes right below that now. I love them, but you know, it's Liam and Noel.
So this is it.
This is where they're going to be camping.
10 minutes away in Whitefield, Oasis Mad Liv is getting her back golden ready. She went viral on X after offering camping space on the condition they'd buy her a ticket in return.
Surprisingly, loads of people replying saying they've got me a ticket and like, can they come? Can they camp in my garden anyway? Was some people were saying. So I had to do like an application process and sift through everybody. But yeah, it was David and Mark from Newcastle who were the lucky winners, I guess, to come and camp in the garden.
You had to vet them. That's insane.
I know. I had a little questionnaire for people to fill out and reasons for coming and you know how long they've been a fan for and that kind of thing. So yeah, they've described themselves as like Ant and Dec from Wish. So I'm sure we'll be up for a great laugh.
Maybe I don't really want to know.
Where have you travelled from?
Cambridge.
Cambridge?
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing the weather with you.
Yeah, we brought it up.
Can you give me a sunshine?
Sunshine.
Can you believe it?
No, well, this is still fuming because she couldn't get a ticket. We're trying to get one for London, but whether we do or not, it's a different story. But my phone's turned off, so we'll go with that, see what happens.
So all the messages are being ignored.
Oh yeah, they'll get read tomorrow.
Which track are you going to go absolutely nuts for?
There's too many, but I think for us, it's got to be Live Forever answer. Your name lives forever, doesn't it? And yeah, tonight will live forever for us lot, definitely. Cheers.
But one thing is for certain, this will go down as one of the greatest reunions of all time. Anna Jameson, BBC North West Tonight in Manchester.
And if you want more Oasis, and who doesn't, we have a brand new series of podcasts about why fans adore the band. Mad for Oasis has been made by BBC Radio Manchester and is hosted by Liam Gallagher. Funny enough, Noel's daughter and therefore Liam's niece. You'll find Mad for Oasis on BBC Sounds, and you can also stay up to date on our live website page. Head to bbc.co.uk/local news and to Manchester. Lots of your pictures and updates throughout the night. Please send them in. Well, at least they've got the weather for it, haven't they? I'm dying to say sunshine.
Oh.
No, I won't.
No, she's done it. Nailed it as well.
I did it anyway, didn't I? Yeah. I've got terrible FOMO. How about you?
I know, I'm a bit disappointed I didn't put on the weather graphics, but no, we couldn't have had a more perfect weather forecast, could we, for this weekend? And some gorgeous weather photos as well, as always. Thank you to our weather watchers for sending these in. A nice early morning sunrise, a little bit of mist and murk first thing, but then clear blue skies and sunshine. you just can't resist. If you do take a weather photo and you'd like to send it in to us here at North West Tonight, all the details on the screen behind me as to how you can send them directly into us. This weekend, high pressure, a big area of high pressure, keeping things very similar, very settled. We're continuing with this potential heat wave. It's going to be warm or hot. We could have temperatures over the next couple of days getting up to the high 20s, maybe even the low 30s. This area of high pressure is what's keeping things dry and settled at the moment, but all change as we head through Sunday and into the start of next week. We will start to push in Atlantic weather fronts and so the return to slightly cooler conditions and also wet and windy conditions through Monday, Tuesday. But overnight tonight, dry, clear, temperatures dropping back no lower than about 12 or 13 degrees Celsius. A little bit of cloud that's actually rolling in off the North Sea, would you believe? And it will get a little bit further inland. So one or two places waking up to a little bit of cloud first thing, but we will then see that cloud dissipate very early on tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine, very high pollen levels, very high UV, and our temperatures very high also, as high, in fact, as 30 degrees Celsius in one or two places for tomorrow. Air mass, unsurprising, really showing that we are in those very milder hues over the next couple of days, but a slight drop into the start of next week. However, early indications, some uncertainty still around the back end of next week, but that we may well start to see the temperatures rising again, so another potential heat wave on the way next weekend. This is how Sunday's looking. We are at risk of triggering a couple of showers, a little bit more cloud in the afternoon, and if not one or two showers, the sunshine will definitely turn hazy, but it will feel quite muggy, I think, on Sunday. Temperatures between 24 and 28 degrees Celsius, so still above average for the time of year. We're going to start to see some heavy showers or thunderstorms, though, I think, through Monday, and that's when, even though Monday we'll get off to a very mild start, we will start to notice things gradually freshening up, I think, as we head through Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, at the moment, quite unsettled, potentially quite wet and windy, a drop in temperatures briefly before those temperatures potentially rise again towards the back end of next week. Annabelle?
Oh, so they're going back up?
Potentially, yeah, we could have another heat wave next week.
Well, that's... I'm just saying, because I might be off in a few days, so that sounds like that might be quite good for me. How convenient. Yes, exactly. Thanks very much for watching. Whatever you're doing, stay cool in the hot weather. Enjoy the weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.